Okay, I wanted to do a blog about something. I don't know if I remembered what the topic was, but the blog I'm going to do right now is on black science fiction and Afrofuturism and what do you call it? The looming slave story or slave origin. Today I was on a panel. I was moderating a panel, and they were, and one of the guys said, an African brother from Nigeria said, he didn't like African American stories that started in slavery, and why did they always have to start in slavery? And our history didn't start in slavery. And I was always one of those people that said, yes, what the hell? Why you always got to start your story in slavery? No doubt, I'm tired of it. Why? Not only is it not a slavery story, but you got to start us in slavery. Well, guess what? When I was talking to him, because he's from Nigeria, I had to tell him that if the story didn't start in slavery, it wouldn't be a African American story or a Black American story. It would be something else. Now follow me. I know that even sounds a little stupid from when I'm saying it, because the thought is so new to me. I haven't even thought of a term or way to really describe what I'm trying to say. But follow me. We were talking on a panel where it was talking about Afrofuturism and African futurism, right? And African futurism came after Afrofuturism, mostly because there were African writers who did not want to be grouped in with African American writers. So Afrofuturism happens to be just Black Americans and people in the diaspora, whoever the hell, I don't know who it is, but everybody that does not live on the continent is Afrofuturism, and everybody who lives on the continent is African futurism when they write. I have no idea, we don't subdivide here and say northern black people sci-fi and southern black people sci-fi. You can write about the North even if you live in the South. We don't care. We don't say non-Baptist, non-Christian. So it just seems real petty that they want to divide it. I mean, I understand it. I understand why. I just don't agree with it. Because once you tell people where the writer is from, they know it is an African from Senegal, from Nigeria, from wherever. You don't have to subdivide it. Anyway, what made the comment funny was in that panel and in that discussion that the guy saying that made me think, well, damn, before slavery, it wasn't black sci-fi, it wasn't Afrofuturism, it was just African science, African futurism, or everything, because there weren't any African Americans before slavery. That's how we became African Americans. Now, I understand we were and always have been African, but the particular tribe that is African American or Jamaican African or Afro-Cubano or Afro-Puerto Rican or Afro whatever, whenever we before, and I mean, unless you get, into the conversation of, what do you call it, what is it, the Native American conversation, where that becomes an important area, with the Native American indigenous conversation that we were here before Christopher Columbus. That's a whole game changer. That's a whole another conversation in itself, because that includes the Native American tribes and which one of those were more African than they were indigenous American. So I'm not going to get into that. But for the other conversation to be existing with this African saying, yo, why do African American stories, all of them have to deal with slavery, have slavery in it? Well, hell, that's our birth. That's how we begin. Now, I'm not making an excuse for it because I don't like including it, or I don't like why it's included. Like, one of the first books I got frustrated with, it wasn't Octavia Butler, because I hadn't read her at the time. I read another book. I'm going to leave the name out of it because what I say is not flattering. But it was a space story. It's African or black people in space, right? And they come to Earth, guardians, right? And they end up coming to Earth or crashing on Earth or whatever. And they fall into slavery. I'm like, oh my God. So for me, the problem was all of the infinite time that their civilization, their people have been living out in space, all of the human history of Earth, right? Because this book wasn't written during slavery, so it wasn't contemporary. It was a story told now. If they wrote the book during slavery, then I'd have been like, well, they were slaves at the time and it was slavery. But it was written in the 1990s or 2000s. I'm like, what? Why you got to deal with slavery? And they were taken into slavery. Oh, my Lord. So I just feel that for the 200 to 300 years that we was in chattel slavery, and the other 100 years or whatever that we were in Jim Crow and whatever we're in now, damn, you know what I'm saying? I even hate on the brother from another planet. Damn it, why you gotta be a slave in another planet? Fleeing persecution. I don't even know what the slavery is like. You understand? I just know they made it seem like it was American, English, European on African slavery. Not even the slavery of Africa, like Okonkwo, which is like indentured servitude. In the book, Things Fall Apart, he don't need no revolution to become king of the tribe that held him captive. You know what I'm saying? He was able to read. He was a man. He didn't need equal rights movement. You understand? So to me, that's another thing. I don't even consider that slavery. I call that something else, because if that's slavery, then what they did here in the Americas, in the Caribbean and South America, is something else. That's not even slavery, because it's a mistranslation. So for me, I don't know what the slavery was like in Brother from Another Planet. All I know is, yes, slavery is a birthplace of African Americans. That's when the tribe first started here in the Americas and broke away from Africa. We can get around it. But for me, I don't like to set stories in it. I don't like to say it came from it if I have to. And I mean, because it's such a victimized period. I don't like to deal with it as a black person, because we took nothing but L's. You know what I'm saying? All we did was get beat down. Who the hell wants to, deal with that? Now, if you're going to do it like Harriet Tubman, a Demon Slayer, or Abraham Lincoln Vampire Slayer, you know what I'm saying? I might be a little bit more interested, but damn it, you better end slavery in the series. Don't give me a Django and some tough slave. No, unless he makes it to set his own city and village up and goes back and destroys white people in slavery states. I'm not really with it, because I don't want slavery to make it through the story. That's my point. I want to end it. Now, if we're going to write about how we ended it and do some alternative history, I might be interested. But it's a very hard subject for me to deal with, because I also feel we know enough about it. And still there's stuff that we don't know, because we only know certain stories. Like I made a post about Puerto Rico. It was funny because I was watching the reel, and the little juicy girl, I like a little cute girl, Adrian, who I just found out used to date LeBron James, yo. Wow, side note. Anyway, she was on there talking about George Floyd and, black people were in slavery. I said, whoa, pump your brakes, sister. You a Puerto Rican. Same people that enslaved me enslaved you. It was just Spanish cousins. We all came over in same ship. And then I realized, I was like, damn. I'm saying that as 50-year-old man, and I might have said it at 40. I might have said it at 30. I might have even have said it at 20, because I kind of always knew, but it was something that I had that never really connected to, because when we do Black History Month, when we talk about slavery, we just talk about America, and we don't include the American colony of Puerto Rico. And then we don't include the other people that were also enslaved: Jamaica, Haiti, Dominican Republic, Cuba, Trinidad, all of those different islands, the Virgin Islands and all that. We don't include none of that, right? We don't include none of it. So it just makes it seem like Harriet Tubman and Nat Turner were the only ones to to fight for the liberation, one, and that slavery only happened in America, two, that these other people can come out and act like they ain't descendants from slaves. How about that? Oh, poor black people, y'all got your asses kicked. Wait a minute. You Puerto Rican, you got your damn asses kicked. You ain't a Taino or Carib Indian no more. You don't even know how to speak that language. So guess what? You got your asses whooped too. So bad that some of y'all think y'all are Spain-ish. Y'all not Spanish. Y'all are Latino. Anyway, let me get off that soapbox. But I'm just going to say, this is about slavery. So I'm talking about slavery and all the different impacts. I haven't read a book set in Puerto Rico during slavery. I haven't read a book, science fiction or whatever. I don't know. Superhero, comic book. I haven't read it. Do they deal with slavery as much as Black Americans do? I don't know. Anyway, there's a lot on my chest. I just got it off. And that's about it. All right, peace.